Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing some more fall content. We're going to be doing some DIY projects that I'm going to be using in my decor this year. This is all going to be very budget friendly, very easy, sort of beginner level. I have a sewing project and then a couple painting projects that I want to do with you today, and it's just going to be super fun. We're going to be doing some decorating next week, so make sure that you stay tuned. I'm so excited to bring out all of the florals and everything that we actually found in last week's video. If you missed that, I will have it linked down below. We did a little bit of shopping at Hobby Lobby, and after today's video we are pretty much set to go to decorate. So today's video is just going to be super cozy, and hopefully you guys get a bunch of ideas for your own homes. So the first project we're going to be doing has to do with these pumpkins here. So I picked these up at Hobby Lobby last week, and I have this craft pumpkin as well as a couple of these smaller styrofoam ones. These ones started out white and they sort of have the stems and everything on there. So we're going to be giving these a little bit of a makeover. I have some different color schemes that I want to sort of incorporate into these. I want to go a little bit more moody, very fairy tale, very realistic. I think it's going to be really fun. So I'll pop up some of the color schemes that I am looking at replicating. I basically went on Pinterest and just found some moody fall color schemes. So I love this first one. It has like a burgundy, a sort of burnt orange, yellow color, and then a couple different tones of greens. And then this one here is similar, except it has more of a burnt orange, and I probably wouldn't do the second one down. That's sort of like a turquoisey color, just because I don't really have any of those colors in my decor. I really want to keep it warm, but again, moody. And the first one that I want to start with is actually this craft pumpkin. So this one, again, I found at Hobby Lobby. It was originally $12.99. I got it for about, I think, 40% off. So it was roughly $7 to $8, and I loved the size of it. That was the main reason that I went for this, and the texture of it is beautiful. It's actually a paper mache pumpkin. That's what it's called online. I can have that link down below as well. But green is honestly my favorite color, so I kind of want to make the biggest one green. And then these other two, I'm not quite sure which colors I'm going to do on these, but we're going to start with this bigger one. And also, while I was at Hobby Lobby, I picked up a bunch of different craft paints and things. So I have a bunch of greens, I have a burgundy, as well as like some yellows and oranges and browns and things. So I'm gonna get all my things together and we can start on our green pumpkin. So I thought I was going to start with the green one, but I think it makes the most sense to sort of do the base coat on all of them first. I decided I wanted to do this little one a deep burgundy color, and then I wanted to do the medium one this sort of burnt orange yellow color, and that's the size of this one. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take all of these little cups. I usually will use these for paints and water to like clean off my brushes, but I rinse them out and I usually will reuse them. So I think if we start our base colors in there, and then we do sort of like our dry brushing accents and also like the brown for the stems in this tray, I think that will work the best. I just don't think this is going to be big enough, especially for a color that we have to mix a good amount for like this big pumpkin. Alright, so this is our green color. I just used a little bit of a darker green, some black, and then I also added some dark brown. This is the burgundy I mixed. I am so picky with burgundies. This took me a while. I used this sort of yellow color because it was looking very purpley, but the base of it is this burgundy color. This one is called alizarin crimson, and then I also used like some greens and things to just sort of neutralize the red a little bit so it wasn't too bright, and then I used this black to sort of deepen it. But pretty happy with that color. Finally got it to not be so purple. Alright, this is our burnt orange sort of yellow color. This one is this color called salted caramel, so it's sort of the burnt orange already. I wanted to take out a little bit of the vibrancy, so I added a little bit of blue to neutralize it. And then I also added a little bit of this honey brown, and I feel like it's just such a pretty golden color. So I just finished the first coat of paint on all of these pumpkins. As you can see, they both dry very differently. This paper mache one is actually ready to go in the time that I was doing the styrofoam ones. These ones almost have like a plasticky material on the outside of them, so they do dry, it just takes a while. So I just used like some reusable sort of wood skewers, and I sort of put it in the bottom and then just found a heavy vase to put it in. And then same for this one that I just barely finished. And with the paper mache pumpkin, I'm definitely not gonna have to do a second coat. I feel like one coat just covered it really well. Well, these ones, I think the second coat will dry a little bit faster, but I'll definitely have to do another coat on those just to make them nice and solid. But I think we could start putting our details on this one. So for this pumpkin, because I have some of the leftover green, I am going to use this. Basically, I want to make a darker version of this color to sort of go in our low points here, and then make a lighter version, or if we run out for some reason, I do have this lighter color to sort of brush over the top of it. I also want to do a little bit of brown just to sort of make it look dirty and natural. And I don't know if you can see, the texture on this pumpkin is so pretty and it looks very natural. I feel like this is gonna look very realistic, but this color is so pretty. I'm very excited about that. So from here, I'm trying to figure out where I want to go, because I really love the way that this looks, but I feel like we definitely need like some highlights or something just to give it that like larger than life realistic sort of feel. So I think what I want to do is maybe try this light green first. I'm gonna wipe off a little bit of the excess, a little bit of a dry brush effect. I really like that. It feels like it just adds a little bit of dimension. Maybe a little bit of this sort of like caramel khaki color as well, and sort of do like the same thing. And with dry brushing, I never wipe off my brush unless I'm using a really dark color. I just feel like they blend together so much better. And then with this sort of like tan color, maybe we just grab a little bit of that and just sort of add some highlights. absolutely love the way that these pumpkins turned out. I feel like they're very moody, but they're very fantasy, very sort of hyper realistic. I just think they're so fun. All of the colors turned out beautiful, and I feel like they're going to look so great with the rest of our fall decor and really bring in all of those fall colors. So the next project that I want to work on for today's video is this landscape frame, or this landscape picture that I made. So we actually got this frame from our local grocery store one year. The actual print on the back is not my favorite. So I basically make these cardboard inserts that I can switch out for all the different seasons. So I have like a more moody one, I have one for Christmas, and then currently I have this really pretty sort of flower field. So basically I made it so that you could use something to sort of wiggle it out of here. And it comes right out just like this, and then on the other side I have that sort of wintry landscape I was talking about, and then I have my more moody one. This one was the first one that I ever made, I believe, and it's actually almost impossible to get out without breaking it. So this is the back. There is another picture behind it, but I'm not interested in it, so it's not a big deal. So basically I'm going to take this and I am going to trace another insert, and what's great about this is that it is super deep, so I'll probably just stack all three of them inside at the same time. So for fall I want to make more of a moody landscape, so I'm thinking this is the picture that I want to sort of recreate or take inspiration from. I just want it to be really cozy, lots of warm deep tones. I'll be using some acrylic paint, which means that I'm going to have to work very fast. So I'm going to cut out the piece for this insert to make another one, and we can get started. So as you guys saw, I started this painting with the sky, and I wanted to make it a little bit more moody, just like the inspiration photo, kind of like how a real fall day would be, with some storm clouds and things like that. And pretty much whenever I do these types of landscape paintings, I always start with the sky for that reason. Then I'm able to bring, like in this case, the mountains and everything really easily in front of it. So after finishing the sky, I added in the mountains as well as the water. The water was very similar to the sky, as in having lots of different tones and just trying to create some dimension, almost like a ripples in the water. I did a few of those mountains in a few different tones. The one towards the front was definitely the darkest, and I did a little bit of shadowing over there. And now we're starting to add in the fall touches that are going to make this painting look like fall and bring in all of those fall colors. So over on the left side, I created this sort of island, and on it were a bunch of trees with leaves. At first, I sort of evenly scattered the leaves leaves around, and I noticed it wasn't looking right, so I sort of started doing clusters of leaves, and that looked so much better. And then something I decided to add to this painting for a little bit more fall flair was to sort of have leaves blowing in the wind. But overall, I loved how this turned out. I feel like whenever I look at landscape paintings, I'm super intimidated, but every time I do one, it's so much easier than you think. With landscapes, it's a lot more forgiving, and you also don't need fancy paints to do it. I just used some acrylic paint and worked really fast. So if you're in need of a new painting, definitely consider trying it yourself. The last project that we need to work on before we can actually decorate for fall next week is a sewing project. So I have this pillow here. It's a really small pillow. I really need to measure it before I actually do this project, but I want to make it more moody. This is very boho, light, airy sort of feel with pom-poms and things. So I actually have this bin of scrap fabric that I always keep, and I think I have just enough of this fabric to put on there. So this is the pattern. It's a very small, intricate pattern. It's a very rich brown color that sort of got some tan and off-white details on it, almost like a flowery detail. If you guys remember, I made that faux tree that sort of has that rocking chair in front of it. For the longest time, I've been looking at that area thinking that it's missing something, and I think it's missing a pillow. Unfortunately, this pillow isn't like a choppable pillow. Fun fact, none of my pillows that I like actually keep upstairs are like down pillows where you're actually supposed to chop them. I just chop them because it looks better. I think they're just normal cotton or like feather sort of pillows, but this one will not chop no matter how well you hit it in the middle here. But for now, it'll work really well. Maybe one day I'll just get the same size pillow with a down insert. I have made these multiple times before. I always use the same Pinterest sort of tutorial. I will have it linked down below. I will explain it a bit in this section of the video as well, but if you're more of a written instruction sort of person and you like to just see that reiterated in a different way, that will be there. So let's cross our fingers that we have enough. That's why you always keep your scrap fabric, because it comes in handy for these little projects. Also, it is very cloudy and gloomy today, so we're just having a very cozy sewing day, which honestly, I am not usually in the mood for sewing, but something about a gloomy day puts me in the mood for it. So the actual size of our pillow, I think, is going to be about 14 by 14. It's a pretty small pillow, and if you haven't seen that chair, it has like a pattern on the seat. We got it reupholstered. It's actually my grandma's old rocking chair. We got it reupholstered because it was looking a little rough. So I wanted something really small and a pattern that was pretty subtle because it has a pretty big pattern on it. So that's why I'm hoping we're going to have enough of this. So we need 14 by 14 for the front. And I'll have to get my cutting mat and my rotary cutters out here in just a second, but I just sort of want to do a rough measurement to make sure that we will, you know, get the right thing. And it says to make the face of the pillow the same size as the pillow, but I'm too nervous to make it 14 by 14, so I'm gonna go 15, just so it allows for seam allowance or any sort of mistakes that we make. And then our back pieces, it's going to be the same width, so it's going to be 15, and then the height or the length is going to be the width of our pillow plus 6 divided by 2. So if our pillowcase is 15, we add 6, it's 21. 21 divided by 2 would be 10.5. So our back pieces are going to be 10.5 inches by 15. And we'll have just about 6 inches to spare. Let's hope that we don't need to actually use those. So I pulled out my iron. So for this front piece, we're just going to iron it so that it's nice and wrinkle free before we sew everything together. And I'm going to do that on both sides. And for the two back pieces, this is what I will usually do to give it more of a finished edge. So I'm going to flip it over to the non-pretty side, the side that's not going to be showing. And basically what we're gonna do is fold this down maybe 1/2 inch or so. So basically what this is gonna do is give our back two pieces a very finished edge. That way you don't see all of these little threads sort of coming off of it. So basically this is what it would look like, and we're just going to iron that down into place. Now to find out if we're gonna have a good sewing day or not. It's a toss-up. Sometimes the sewing machine works perfectly and other times you can't figure it out. So let's cross our fingers. Got a scrap piece here, just gonna see how it goes. So it's stitched fine, but it looks like the needle was a little old. I hope I have another one. Ooh, I have one left. Okay, I think I fixed it. Oh, I really hope it doesn't break again, because I'd be lying if I said that has never happened before. I think we're in business. So for these back panels, the ones that we folded over in the back, the first thing we have to do is sew these down, plain stitch all along this, and then I'll show you guys how we actually put the pillow together. Also, if thread color is something that bothers you and you want it to match, then I would definitely go for like a brown. For me, I just already had white in there. I don't think I have brown, and honestly, it doesn't bother me very much. So this is what it looks like, just plain hemmed. So putting this pillow cover together is actually very simple. I'm very used to it because I've done it so many times. So first we're going to take the face of our pillowcase, so that's going to be the biggest one, and we're going to put the pretty side, the side that you're going to see, facing up. And now we have our two back pieces. Once we're done sewing everything together, you basically flip it inside out, so you want the pretty side to be all inside. So what we're gonna do, this is our finished edge. I'm gonna put that towards the middle of our pillowcase here, and then line up the edges at the top. So that is what it looks like. And then we're going to take our other piece, and basically you just do the opposite. So same thing, pretty side is going to be on the inside. We're going to take our finished edge and put it towards the middle, and then line this one up with the two corners as well. So basically this is what you are left with, and when you lift up this edge, you see the other edge right here, and they overlap by a few inches to sort of give that envelope feel, or that envelope effect I should say. And then from here we're basically just going to pin all the way around, and we're actually going to sew all the way around this pillowcase, and then basically all we have to do is turn it inside out and then put it on our pillow. you guys, that is going to wrap up today's last minute DIY fall decor that I need to make before decorating our home next week. I am so excited about all of these items. For the most part, they were super simple, especially the pillow one. Very, very small change, but just something that I needed to cross off of my list. I hope you were inspired by some of these projects, and let me know in the comments below if you're interested in trying any of these for yourself, because I think a lot of these are very beginner friendly. And like I said, we are going to be decorating next week, so make sure that you are subscribed. I'm going to be decorating our whole entire living room with pumpkins and burgundy and orange and just all the wonderful cozy things that come with fall, and I'm just so excited to utilize all of the items that we made today. Thank you so much for joining me for this cozy craft day where we just finished everything off on my to-do list, and I'm so excited to officially be welcoming fall with you guys next week. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far, and I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye, you guys.